So, kind of excited to do this. I'm gonna do a little bit of a custom work on my putter. I have a Scotty Cameron 2.5 special, um, and the paint's fading just a little bit on the bottom and things like that. I mean, it's actually still in really good shape overall, but I don't know. I saw a lot of posts in this Facebook group that I'm in, this Scotty Cameron one, and people uh, updating and doing the paint on their own. And it turns out everyone's stuff seems like it turned out really well. So I guess we'll find out how hard it is or not. Just so you can kind of see like the bottom. The red, it's not bad. The red's just fading just a little bit. But what I think I'm gonna do is a nice little tribute to America and do red, white, and blue pattern. So I think I'm gonna do red, white, and blue on the back. Maybe red on this Titleist, blue on the Scotty, and white on the Scotty and blue on the Cameron. Maybe red, white, and blue there. I don't know if that'll be too busy or not, but I'll have time to think about that because the first step is I got to strip all the paint out of it already. And on the back there, that red you can see, that's just paint. So hopefully that means this won't be too big of a pain to be able to get taken out. So I'm just going to use some of this paint thinner here, get to work on it, and hopefully this is an easy process. We'll see. Alright, so here's an update. Hopefully this will help save you some time. So I looked up online a little bit before I did this just to see how people were stripping the paint off. And it was like people were talking about mineral spirits, also acetone, which I didn't use acetone. I tried mineral spirits first, and I just put it in a bag and let the putter basically, soak in the bag for a couple hours, and that didn't do anything. I had, Q-tips right after that. It wasn't doing anything. So then I did a little bit more, and rubbing alcohol is what I used. And that actually worked really well. I soaked this thing in rubbing alcohol for 30 minutes, I think. And I knew it was working because it's probably hard to see on camera, but so this Scotty Cameron has like the red circles in the back and stuff. The rubbing alcohol is kind of pinkish. So right away I was like, okay, this is actually working. And really, if you soak it for like a half hour, just take like a small nail, and that will let you, it almost like just gets the paint to flake off almost like it's plastic that's in there. So like, I'll try and, so you can see, I haven't done anything to this putter line here, the black one. Hope you can see, it's actually like falling out already just from soaking in the rubbing alcohol. So good news is rubbing alcohol works really well. Yeah, even on the lettering here, the paint's falling out. Rubbing alcohol, super cheap. Definitely cheaper than having to go buy acetone or go buy mineral spirits or anything, and works really, really well. So step one, if you're going to redo your putter like I am, it's sweet. Just get a baggie, put some rubbing alcohol in it, soak it in there for like 20-30 minutes, and then you can, this stuff's falling out at this point, but the circles in the back, a little harder. Just get a nail, and I just moved around, and it literally just is all coming out really well. So kind of a good little find there. Took me a couple different tries, but now I know. Rubbing alcohol. All right. So I already started doing some of the paint fill, and it's pretty straightforward, but just to kind of show you, the easiest way to really do it is get a toothpick. You get your little bottle of paint. Again, $1.99 from Hobby Lobby, Tester's brand. All you do is just dip the toothpick in, gets a little drop, and then really just set it, and it will fill in the indentation in the engraving. And so once you do that, I suggest letting it dry just a little bit. So I did a lot of trial and error with this last night, and so if I went right away, and I would take a Q-tip, and I would try to like kind of smear it away. It just pulled the paint out of the lettering a bit because it was still so wet. So I have a hair dryer that I put on low, and just, real quick, just give it just a little bit. Let it dry with a hair dryer, and then you can wipe away the stuff on the surface. And I would just dip the Q-tip in a little bit of the paint thinner that I have, and that cleans everything else around it really, really well. But definitely learn from me on that. Let it dry just a little bit. I mean, if you let it dry all the way, it's actually really easy to clean as well, because you can just use your fingernail and just usually scrape off everything that's not in the lettering. And then just use a Q-tip with some of the paint thinner to really clean up around it. But yeah, I mean, filling in the paint's pretty easy. Toothpick, pretty simple to do it. Um, when you can, it's best to do the darkest colors first. So this bottom part was actually kind of hard because white's in the middle. And so because I know that the paint will spread when I'm wiping it, I actually did red, white, blue on this, but I was just very careful to make sure when I was cleaning up the white that I had, this wasn't painted, so it was easier for me to go down, so I made sure I didn't smear any white into the red. So when you can, go darker color first, but I had to get pretty strategic here and just kind of know where I was going to be wiping to keep from getting any white into the red. And since this was all still, I had already pulled all the paint out, it didn't matter because I could take a Q-tip with paint thinner and just clean all this out if I got any of the white in there. And then I just had to be really careful when I did the blue, just to make sure I always wiped down and away from the white. And it worked out pretty good. I still have to clean this up a little bit. I actually didn't finish the cleanup because I was just going to let it all dry this time. But yeah, turned out pretty good.